Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the 20 Somethings podcast. We back at it again with another EP. It's your boy David. We out here with the group today. We out here like 4 or 5 deep today. It seems like we have a topic to talk about today, guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Come on, guys. Like
4 or 5 deep today.
You know what's going on today. So, what's it called? For those people watching on YouTube, you might see we have two new faces, beautiful faces today that are not on the usual podcast. So, we have Toya C and we have Bright today. Can you guys say hi? Give a quick
Yo.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Come, Bright. I want to hear that.
Hello.
Say you're.
Hey,
I'm talking about that's hip hop. Yeah, I love that. Cool. Obviously, we still have our host, RM Fiend. Say what's up, y'all.
I like how the energy went down.
I know, down to the ground.
He said, yeah. We got
These are the normal guys.
Hey guys, welcome back.
What's up?
Yeah. How are you guys feeling today?
Right.
Pretty good. Ready to talk, ready to discuss.
Yeah. We're recording pretty like back to back, which I like. So nothing
Consistency.
Okay.
Consistency is the
guys.
key. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fee. So yeah, I will usually get into everyone's week and all that kind of stupid stuff, but not stupid, but we have some serious topics and some serious agendas to get into today. So let's not pause it. What's it called? So today, the main topic we're going to be talking about, that's why we have Toya C and Bright today. We're going to be talking about the Nigerian election.
Dun, dun, dun.
Very scary, very interesting, So a lot of you guys may be like interested in that kind of stuff and might have been seeing stuff on social media about it, especially a lot of us over here in America. I feel like this election more than any other has been like more publicized, I feel like, just abroad, maybe because where we're at in our age and everything. So this election more than any other is definitely more publicized, I feel like. Would you guys agree?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, compared to anything. And I think also because of our age, like, I think Buhari had 2 terms, right? So like he first got in like 8 years ago or so. So like how old were we like 8 years ago? We were kids. You know, a lot of us were kids.
Right.
Yes.
Why did you have to adjust that?
No. I was just making sure. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, I actually know what's going on. But definitely, I know when Buhari came in, I heard his name, but we were not as involved or really knew anything about it. So I feel like now, because we're all like in our 20s now, our mid-20s and stuff like that, we're definitely more aware of what's going on. So a typical person like me, right? I was born here in the United States. Of course, I am Nigerian. But I never lived in Nigeria, and I don't have necessarily the same access to people in Nigeria that some people that might have migrated when they were older do. So when these kind of things come up, like I always want to like know more about it, but like I don't really know what's the right source, right? Because if I go to my parents, they might be biased because their generation and stuff like that. So, you know, today we have Toya C and Bright, you know, our 2 experts in this kind of stuff. So I want to learn more. I think we all want to learn more. I think we all just want to have a good discussion. So we're going to kind of get into that. I just want to kind of ask you guys to kind of talk about yourselves a little bit. I know we did that before, but let's start with you, Bright. Who are you? Where are you from? And how did you get here in this 20 Somethings podcast today?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Bright, and I am a software engineer by day and a politician at night.
Senator.
But I grew up and like went to high school in Nigeria before I came here for college. And like growing up, my family, you know, being involved in politics, I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot, and I keep following up with a lot, you know, with the media. So how did I get to 20 something podcast? Always my roommates. Yes. So
he's right there.
Well, yeah, nice to meet everyone.
Nice. Shout out Aura for that one. Cool. How about you, Toyosi? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Toyosi, Yoruba girl.
Yeah.
Grew up in Nigeria, moved here for school. I'm a public policy researcher and data analyst by day. I'm a nerd every other time when I'm not a researcher. So
Okay. Respect.
that also means I'm a historian. I taught history for 2 years online, and that was Nigerian history from pre-colonial period till date with a bunch of my friends. I also research other things, just random things, because I'm a geek. I've loved politics, and so I studied war and diplomacy across Africa and Europe. So
nice. So many titles in the room today. I really like the energy.
Educated people.
I'm almost intimidated right now. I can't even speak right now, but it's all good. And man, then RFE.
You want me to go after that?
Again with the shade.
Nah, man. I just want to know, like, okay, what's the baseline on what you guys? Yeah, because you guys are in the same position as me, right? Pretty much born here. What's it called? But Aura, I feel like you know things.
The fingers.
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a researcher or anything. I definitely like to learn about policies, politics, on like a very like surface level. I don't go super deep or anything like that. I think what has kind of piqued my interest this time around is the NSARS movement around 2020. And then leading up to this election, that's kind of what has kind of piqued my interest back when it comes to Nigerian politics. Usually the kind of discussions I was familiar with having or hearing are those where you hear your parents talking loud on the phone, complaining about this and that, corruption, this and that, but times have definitely changed. And I think the story of Nigeria and politics and policies and all of these social issues have evolved more to a more complex level, right? And that's where I've sort of started to lose touch a little bit in terms of what's going on. So I'm here to be educated and ask a bunch of questions as well. So very excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Just to start kind of the conversation, we'll start from a basic thing, and I want to bounce off of Aura again because you don't know that much about it. With the current election, right? Those three candidates, Peter Obi, Tinubu, and Atiku. What do you know about any of them?
Okay.
Not to be aggressive, but
no, I mean I'm gonna speak from the novice standpoint. Peter Obi, I know that Peter Obi is with the Labour Party. I know that party has a lot of strong youth presence, and they're trying to push new ideas forward. They're trying to rein in corruption. And he's a new candidate. I think he's the first candidate or potential president who would have been born after Nigeria gained independence. I know that fun fact about him. Tinubu is like the establishment in human form. I think he is rich. I know he's a former governor of Lagos State. And I know that, he has a lot of critiques, especially when you ask young people regarding, how he's run government and the fact that he's just like every other person who sat in these seats before. And the Atiku guy, I have no idea. I don't know nothing about that guy.
It seems like no one really talks about him that much. He's just like the third guy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go on, bro.
How did I do, guys?
No, I think you did well. Like with Atiku was former vice president.
Establishment.
Yeah, he's actually part of the establishment too, heavily. Like as former vice president, and he's a very sinister person in terms of like trying to privatize everything in the country. So that's his own ideology. If you're asking for like having a perspective of their personas, that's the kind of person he is. Privatization and just yeah. Another fun fact about him: he has run for the presidency 5 times in the past. So that's someone that's coming to come and make all the money that he lost previous runs.
Sorry, huh? Atiku is actually a very interesting person in history of Nigeria. Even before he ran for president, he ran for governor of his state, and I believe that was 1996, let me see, 1990, 1996, and 1998. So this is basically between the Third and Fourth Republic of Nigeria. The Third Republic was 1993 when we first attempted to have a democratic process. And that was before Babangida took over with the military coup that lasted till 1999. So in the Third Republic, in the establishment of the Third Republic, we were looking at like establishment of a constitution. They had debates around the country, political debates, which were incredible. They produced bureaucratic reports. They had social mobilization, all of those things. I mention all these things to say this. In the recommendation for a two-party system that came up in 1993, before that republic was shut down, Atiku was a huge part of that. He was a huge part in just facilitating a democratic process, establishing a party, for example, figuring out the Muslim-Christian division and figuring out what majority party would look like in Nigeria during that republic. Fast forward now to the Fourth Republic. Atiku was a huge part of establishing INEC, which nobody talks about. So in the process of, they even call it the Abubakar regime in history books, which again, like we don't really talk about very much. In 1999, Atiku mostly single-handedly established PDP when they finished the constitutional basin and the drafting of the constitution and possible electoral process. They had gone away from the ideology, the socialist ideology that had come up in 1993 and come up in other republics in the Second Republic. They had established an electoral committee. They had established all those things. And basically what they were doing was, how do we get a party system established? They decided it wasn't a two-party system anymore, that anyone who had any kind of political majority, so long as they were represented in all 36 states, could be represented as a party. Atiku took PDP and registered PDP almost single-handedly. He established a meeting with a lot of the generals that we hear about, and he had a lot of ex-generals back him up, including give them money for campaigns. It wasn't until later in 1999 before Obasanjo was even brought to the table. And the reason he was brought to the table was because while PDP was really popular in the North, they didn't have a Southern representative. And then all the generals were figuring out how to get this majority in the process. There were three major parties at the time. So it was AD, PDP, and one other one I'm forgetting right now. I think it was, forgot.
SDP?
I say SDP? No, APP, All People's Party. So it was PDP, All People's Party, and then Alliance for Democracy, AD Party. Those were the three main parties that were registered. So other parties like the PRP or the NCP were not registered till like late 2000s to 2003.
Okay, wait. I sorry to interrupt you. As someone who is like trying to understand, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Got no idea.
Because you see my demeanor change. Like when I heard PDP, APP, I said. That's why I started to try to pay closer to.
Nah, you're really killing it too.
Yeah.
Let's start. Okay, so basically, from what you were saying is like Atiku wasn't completely like bad. Like he like did some good things.
I'm not saying bad or good. Bad or good are terminologies of our own values imputed on people. I'm telling you what he did.
If you're telling us his impact he had recently, yes, or in general.
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
When we're thinking about who is, quote unquote, a qualified political candidate for Nigeria, we have to look at one, maybe what they've done, maybe look at their manifesto if they have one, look at their personal records, look at things like that. If we simply look at Atiku Abubakar's resume, he should be president. He has worked in facilitating two different republics, worked in establishing a democracy in Nigeria when nobody thought it was possible. He worked to stabilize that democracy over the course of 8 years as vice president. He has worked in establishing so many organizations. Yes, privatization is like this thing where everyone throws at him and saying things like he privatized national resources and national whatever. But if you look at the wave across the world at that time, the British was privatizing their national resources too, because at that point, even the US was privatizing, realizing that maybe government should not be involved in certain aspects of our lives. this idea of privatizing versus public-owned goods has been a debate in academia and in the world of politics for so long. While some people think it's bad, some people think it's good. Across Africa to other countries were privatizing. Atiku's main problem is the fact that they said he established INEC in such a way that it cannot facilitate an actual electoral process that is free and fair and like free of corruption. It might be that Atiku made this organization in that way by weakening it so much, or it might be that the processes of electoral processing in Nigeria is just bad and complicated, that there's no way to make INEC any stronger. But on paper, in terms of what Atiku has done in Nigeria, quite frankly, him and Obasanjo are probably the reason we haven't had a second military coup. Sorry, not a second, a fourth or a fifth, whatever it is.
I mean, Tinubu can make the same arguments because I don't know if you know of Nadeko. It's one of the things he boasts about the most about how he fought.
Wait. Could you explain who is that? Who is that?
Tinubu, former Lagos governor.
What is Nadeko? What is that?
Oh, I don't know what the acronym stands
okay, it's an acronym. Okay.
Yeah, it's an acronym for like, I think it was a movement or an organization. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. But he is part of his campaign major points when he's trying to get people over, saying he was one of those that fought for democracy in Nigeria. Because Nadeko was a move during the military, military regime where they are trying to push whether it's laws, whether activities, whatever, just to bring in democracy. So I mean, Tinubu can make the same argument you're making today, but from what we have seen, it is obvious that they pushed for that democracy for their own personal, and I don't even know what to even call it, because the same democracy they preach, they don't live it.
Fair enough.
They don't live the democracy. So it can be argued that they have, Tinubu has been planning to be president for the past 20 years.
So has Abubakar.
Wait, who's Abubakar? Wait.
That's Atiku.
Okay.
Yeah, he has been planning this since 1996.
So does that not tell you his initial actions to bring in the democracy is for his personal benefit in the front that he has sat down?
I cannot say that.
I can say that for Tinubu. Oh. I can say that for Tinubu because Tinubu was an unknown.
Bad man.
Tinubu was an unknown. If you literally say, "Oh, I want to research this human being and get all as much data as I can," before he was in the university, zero data, no life story, no family history, no classmates, nothing. Tine appeared in Chicago.
Yeah, they say he was a gangster or something, right?
Yeah, it was a drug pusher. He's a drug lord. There's court documents, there are documentaries that prove. If you literally go to the court in Chicago, they will give you the proceeding where he settled out of court. And like there's a conspiracy that he settled out of court, and it was in line with the same time he went back to Nigeria to fight for democracy. So he had an issue with the US, and the next thing he's fighting for democracy in Nigeria after committing a crime.
Convenient.
Easy.
Yeah. I want to defend Tinubu in a way. I feel they need to do so.
Whoa.
This is very wait. It's very rare. Like usually your age group is for Peter Obi. So hearing someone talk from your perspective is very unique for me. Yeah.
I am, but if you study history, you have to understand the parts everyone plays. And some of those accomplishments should not be taken away. So Obasanjo comes in 1999, and part of the process, Obasanjo's main mandate, if you read his book, is the fact that he doesn't want Nigeria to go through another coup again. One of the ways he does that is, at that point, he was from PDP. The group of 34, which are the originators of PDP, were all ex-military generals. You're looking at General Ali Mohammed Gusau, Wushishi, General Babangida, and a bunch of others. Even Danjuma was part of one of the group of 34. All of them were major generals. And so the way to make sure that there was not going to be a coup was, first of all, get them on his side, to cripple state government so much so that they would have to be reliant on federal government for any move that they make, including taking away policing powers from the state government so that they never have enough armed resources to like have a coup or organize one. He also broke down the structures of communication in governments, decentralized so many processes, while centralizing some, just to give the president as much power as possible. In the process of this, Tinubu is also governor of Lagos. He cripples Lagos so much so that Lagos starts to experience a lot of inflation, a lot of downturn in the economy, a lot of just really like lack of money. He withheld funds, federal funds from Lagos at some point in this beef between Tinubu because Tinubu wanted more power, more autonomy as the constitution states that he otherwise should have had. Tinubu then in turn turns to Lagos for financial purposes. And this is why Lagos is where Lagos is today. He starts internal taxation. He raises state taxes. He starts finding ways to invest in Lagos in such a way that infrastructure could bloom from Lagos without necessarily relying on federal government for money or federal government for even any kinds of moves. Till date, Lagos has money because of this man. Lagos has infrastructures outside of the federal government because of Tinubu. Lagos is where it is right now because this man made some moves. And he didn't just like make some moves, he did some bust things in Lagos. Now, granted, he stole half the money. I gotta put it there.
Yeah, he still did something.
But without what he did, the infrastructure, the people in Lagos would not be where it is today. So we gotta give it to him that to some degree, this man has established a precedent in Lagos. Some of the things in his manifesto when he ran for governor in Lagos are still what has been implemented in Lagos today, including like the public transportation, the BRT bus by Babatunde Raji Fashola, the roads, the building of the Third Mainland Bridge, little things like that, and then the extension to the Third Mainland Bridge, all of those things are part of the things Tinubu started. So if he can do that in Lagos without federal support, I see why people would think he can do more for Nigeria as a whole.
Mm-hmm. But my question, right? When you said he stole half the money, like he put that in his pocket?
Yo,
like as one man took the state money, half of it, and put it in his pocket.
Yes, no.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So imagine like if he didn't do that, wouldn't it be better for Lagos?
It would have been better, but the thing is, the avenues he came up with, he privatized some resources, sold some others, decommissioned a bunch of things, but the avenues he used were unpopular at the time. He went against a federal government to implement some of those changes. I don't know many political leaders who would have done that. I don't know any political leaders who would have even known to get money in that way. So in that way, maybe, yes, he lined his pocket, but if he wasn't if he wasn't governor at the time, the infrastructures in Lagos would not exist, may not exist.
I'm glad you said me because there's no way that Tinubu was the like Lagos was once the capital of Nigeria now.
Best time.
So Lagos has some level of sentiment of being a prestigious, because Abuja today, that is the federal capital territory. Abuja is like set aside from the normal states in Nigeria with regards to the prestige he has. So Lagos had that status once. Tinubu, I'm not saying he didn't do anything when he was governor, but to me he was running a company. Lagos is his company. Because if you go back and read his proceedings to himself when he was leaving office as governor, because he was governor 2 terms, 8 years. When he was leaving, the amount of allowances he allocated to himself,
wow,
you will cry for Lagos.
So wait, question: do they publish the money that they're taking? Like, can you see it?
Sometimes you can see it.
No, you can't see anything.
So how are people so sure? How are people so sure these politicians are stealing money? Like, how do they know?
So the budget committee read some of the budgets for governor, commissioners, and a bunch of other whatever at the National Assembly. The kitchen budget was like a couple millions. Why did you kitchen budget?
So they're fudging the numbers.
Yeah, that's not including like the staffing budgets. They have travel allowances upwards of their yearly salary, which is ridiculous. They have like the way that they inflate all of the numbers, that somebody's pocketing something. And those are the ones on paper that we can track. The ones off the paper, some of the people who were arrested, this lady who was from who was former minister of petroleum or something like
Dizani,
that. Oh my God. Somebody put on Twitter, what a man can do, Dizani can do better. Family had been stealing petroleum money, but this woman stole 3 or 4 times what every single person stole.
She stole so much, she had to take herself on exile.
She put money in
left
warehouses.
The country.
Literally, they found warehouses, not one, not two, multiple warehouses with money in dollars, pounds, euro, naira.
Yeah.
She was the real G, man.
G? How does someone sleep like that?
Like,
yeah, I mean, all of them, they sleep well at night because
like there are those cases where you find like the money and you're just like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm. You know, like most of these, like this higher, older generation of these leaders, their percentage compared to the percentage of the population of Nigeria is very small. So they have a tight-knit elitist group. They all know themselves. They all know the game they play, and like they know how to maneuver. So it's an enabling environment for such.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a lot.
That's really, really intense.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't really know like how, because I always hear they steal money, but I'm just like what do you mean they steal money? Like they just steal it and nobody like does anything? Like, you know what I mean? Because
in Lagos, the toll gates, that major toll gate that everyone knows and talks about, every day billions of naira they collect from people.
That's true.
And they say they use it to manage the road. Half of it goes to Tinubu's left pocket. The other half is right pocket. Because no one can say nada.
This actually brings me back to the EndSARS. This actually brings me back to the EndSARS. The reason that they had such a violent reaction to the EndSARS was they had shut down the toll gate for a whole week with protests.
Exactly.
Money. They're in the pockets.
Exactly. And somebody was like, oh, hell no.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that was why EndSARS was so violent in the sense of the toll gate was the most violent reaction. Every other place, Surulere was not as bad. They used tear gas, but they didn't use live rounds.
Right.
But toll gate was where they were like, okay, all of you will die for like for like blocking our money.
Wow. So just from my understanding, for what you guys have been talking about, Atiku and Tinubu, they're established people, like they're known. These guys, they look very old. I know they'd be saying Tinubu was like 70 or something, but he's low-key older, right?
Yeah, I don't believe
Tinubu's like 85.
All I know is like this man looks like he about to clock his grave.
No, yeah.
Nah, for real. You see him on the bike? Why is he doing that?
Yeah, he's really old.
Yeah. So like my thing is like I understand like, you know, in Nigeria, I feel like our culture seeps into politics as well, you know? Like why don't we really see like younger candidates like really come in? I think Peter Obi is like younger than them. Like he's probably like six. Is he 40 something?
Is he 40 something?
60 something. Like 60
something.
Very early 60.
Yeah, and that's even like some would say that's old. I might say that's old or something compared to me, right? So is it more so like because like in Nigeria it's like you have to like go through all this kind of stuff to be able to run for president? Or is it just like, I don't know, that's just the infrastructure there that allows those old people to be running like this like 30 years later?
I think there are only 3 or 4 requirements to be president in Nigeria. So you have to be at least 35. You have to be born in Nigeria or something like that, and you have to be something else. They're like, it's not even many. And so it's not about age. The problem with Nigerian politics and younger people is this. The main parties from the Fourth Republic are PDP, AD, which is now APC after many consolidations. Nigeria has operated a multi-party system on paper, but a duopoly on, I need to stop using big words, party system in practice. You can only get majority as in win an election in states if you're either from APC or from PDP. If you look at the party compositions of people from PDP, for example, like I mentioned, the group of 24 that founded PDP, all the ex-generals, first of all of them are still alive. all of them have an entitlement towards power. They want power, they will take power. It is their right. They establish the party. It is their turn. As Tinubu said, Okami. And I'm just like, that's the situation on there. So as a young person, first you have to play party politics. And by playing party politics, I mean donate to campaigns, go for meetings sometimes, buddy up with somebody, maybe get a political appointment here or here, whatever. However Fashola did it, that's basically how you go. Once you get there, you realize that even if you are relatively young and in power, you still have to bow to these people. So now my example would be this man who was in Lagos. There was Fashola and there was Sanwo-Olu. What's
Sanwo-Olu?
Ambode. No, it was
Okay,
Ambode. The moment Ambode decided to go away from the manifesto of his party, Tinubu shut that shit down. Excuse my French. He couldn't even get reelected a second time. He got ousted by his own party while he was sitting governor.
Wow.
So you want to be very careful as a young person in politics because your own party will shut you down. And if you lose your party's own support, you will lose the people. Depending on where you are, Tinubu runs Lagos. You lose Tinubu's support in Lagos, good luck. Good luck getting a job, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, like it can be argued that Tinubu is still the governor of Lagos today, but with the wave we have today, with the Peter Obi effect, the structures are breaking. Structures are breaking.
Lost Lagos.
No, Tinubu lost Lagos.
Just lost Lagos.
Outside that, like many of these old, like I don't even know if you follow all these senators, speakers and stuff. Many of them contesting today, they've been there for 15, 20 years. No one is touching them. But because of this Peter Obi effect, many of them have been losing. A lot of them have been losing. The APC chairman, a lot of them have been losing. And it's literally the Peter Obi effect because people are just literally Labour Party. They don't even care what they're looking at, Labour Party. And like the people that they don't even know about, they didn't do enough campaigns, they're just winning. Like I've seen two stories of like, literally.
Who barely campaigned from the Labour Party, who won simply because they had Labour Party.
Literally. So yeah, it's called the Peter Obi effect, and it's dismantling the structures because today the APC chairman, I don't even know if you look at that man's picture, he's like 200 years old. That man is older than Tinubu, but he lost his election, and like to me, it's like a ray of hope because like the tide is changing. Half of the population in Nigeria, they are under 19. It's the youth that exists in the country. In the next few years, 5 to 10 years, it's them that are going to be the middle and like, the actual class of the country, the working class of the country. So it's them that is their ideas, their way of life that needs to like guide, the way they live in the country. So they need that young, fresh, idea, someone that is different from this old enterprise. We're tired, and it's showing in the votes. It's showing in the votes.
I had a question. What makes, so we've talked in depth about Atiku. We've talked a lot about Tinubu. What makes Peter Obi different from those two? Like what are like the main pillars that are driving people to vote for him specifically now? I'm sure there's been other attempts to kind of bust through, but he's obviously done something different. Like what do you guys think?
I'll tell you what told me. Actually, please go on, Bright.
No, I mean, I wanted to say one point, and then I'll pass it to you to give us the historical, context of it. But one thing I will say about Peter Obi is this: if the ruling parties today had anything on him in terms of corruption, in terms of having a bad record, in terms of anything illegal, they would have finished him. I mean, finished him with court orders, they don't have anything on him. First and foremost, he has been in government, former governor, but they can't say anything. They will allocate land to him as governor. He will say, I don't want, this is not my rights. I'm here to serve and I'm here to walk away. So this is someone that has had the opportunity to do what they do and said, I don't play what you guys play. So that's what makes him different.
I started this podcast by saying, when you look at a presidential candidate, you look at their past records, you look at their personal lives, and then you look at their manifestos. Let's start with his past record as governor of Imo State. Imo State is not a state that we all talk about. It's not Lagos, it's not Abuja, it's not any of the big states that we talk about. Is it? Am I?
No, I think it was Anambra. I'm trying to think. I think it was Anambra.
Is it Anambra?
Anambra, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but what he did was he started investing in breweries and a bunch of other he made some other investments. Once the returns on investments came, other politicians in Nigeria would have pocketed those funds. He redirected it into educational funds, started funding everything from primary schools, secondary schools, and state universities. Today, he increased their literacy rates. One paper I was reading said he increased their literacy rate by almost 10% as a governor. It's almost unheard of. That is his political record. His personal life, yeah, maybe some of his businesses were not whatever. People are saying, well, some of his businesses are failing. And some people are saying, well, he moved his businesses out of his own states to Lagos. And I'll say to him, to all of them, if a state has more population, a bigger population for your business, if it has more economic opportunities for your business, wouldn't you move? And then look at his manifesto. Oh my God, it is one of the best written documents about political plans I have ever read. And that's coming from me, who has read manifestos in different countries. I read Biden's plans, for heaven's sake. And it is so well detailed. Every single person he listed for appointees are people I would die to work for. They have qualifications in World Bank or in important NGOs. They have qualifications in high companies, both in US and abroad. He brought both diaspora Nigerians and Nigerians to work together on this manifesto, and it freaking shows. It is so well thought out. Everyone on paper is highly qualified, more than qualified for the job. He did it on a merit base. Again, this is the first time we've seen meritocracy in any Nigerian government. When Atiku implemented INEC, he put most of his friends and people he had known. Throughout his vice presidency, him and Obasanjo from 1999 till 2007, everyone would accuse them of, there's a word for it, but basically just putting in friends, family, and in high places.
Nepotism.
Nepotism, thank you. This manifesto does not contain that. It contains actual economic plans to reduce inflation, actual economic plans to build infrastructure, to build agricultural exportation and improve Nigeria's reputation abroad in trade. It includes free trade agreements. I mean, this is the first time I have read a manifesto and I was just like, wow, just freaking wow. So if only I'd read that document, even without knowing his personal life or his previous political history, the fact that a plan this comprehensive was undertaken is enough for me to say, yes, this is my vote. Because what has Tinubu said? He says, well, it's my turn to be president. Is that what I'm going to eat?
he said you give your agbado. You give your beans.
What has Atiku done? Atiku said last whatever years as vice presidency. And quite frankly, that is Obasanjo's legacy. In parts Atiku played, those are very controversial. Literally. So while on paper, Atiku looks like he has such governing, record and such a good resume, in terms of political plans, it really is crap.
Facts. So yeah, Peter Obi is like a trained economist in like Harvard. He has gone to like 5 different Ivy League schools, and you know how like people go to schools and just do quick programs. He has done like many. He has his resume is quite thick. His academic resume is thick. It's thick.
Somebody was asking me the other day, they're like, what would bring you back to Nigeria? And I'm like, look, if Peter Obi calls me and he's like, Tracy, come work for me. Yo, I'm packing up. This is the government I actually believe in.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
I saw his plans and I'm like, I will go along with that. I work with think tanks sometimes to create like sustainable plans for different parts of the economy. This is the first time I've seen such a comprehensive document in one place. Hell, I want to work for whoever created it.
Right. Why not? No, that's really good. So, have you guys been following how they're counting all the votes? I heard he won Lagos, that Peter Obi won Lagos, and that's pretty big too, because that's not even really his area too. So, like, you guys think he has like a pretty good chance of winning the whole thing?
Did not.
His win in Lagos is it's obvious that he won, that they said he won, but he won so much more than they said he won. They took away 400,000 votes from him. 400,000 votes from him. No, if you follow, because the thing that was happening was INEC promised us. INEC spent $600 million
Wait, for
on
the
this
audience.
election.
For the audience, what is INEC? What is INEC? Because you're going into these acronyms, like you need to be informing people.
I think it's Independent National Electoral Commission.
Okay.
Yes.
What is their purpose?
It's the electoral body that governs and carries out the election operations in Nigeria.
Okay.
So apparently they're independent. They're meant to be independent. Yeah.
But they've never been. The establishment. If you listen to any of the history I spewed just now.
Yeah. So they budgeted $600 million for this nonsense we just finished seeing. And the beavers alone, the machines alone, about $300 million. Like, they spent good money for rubbish. Like, and first and foremost, the chairman of INEC promised us that they're bringing this new innovation. They're spending all this money for these beavers that is going to accredit voters. So the machine literally uses facial recognition, and that's what he used to get all that money. He's pouring all these keywords, facial recognition and biometrics, your fingerprint, to accredit you as a voter. That verifies that you are qualified to vote. And then what happens at the polling unit is, once they check you and you're good to go, they give you the paper. That's the real physical paper, the ballot paper. And then you put your hand in ink, and then you choose the party you want to vote for, and then you put it on. Once everyone is done, they count the votes. And then what's meant to happen, what he promised us was immediately, because at that polling unit, you have a polling officer, and then you have party agents. That's, you have someone representing PDP, someone representing Labour Party, someone representing APC, that stays there, sees everyone voting, counts in front of everyone, and then they put the results as it is counted on the result sheet. And using that same beavers, they take a picture of that result sheet and transmit it to the general INEC server. So he promised us that as the election is finishing in any polling units at any time, the results will be transmitted in real time. That did not happen in this whole election. It was hassle. It was a fight. You see videos of party agents disagreeing because votes are being changed. You see videos of the polling agents being taken away to different locations to go and game the system. And they are counting votes on the election where the votes were not transmitted in real time, and they've not tracked or tried to follow up with what happened in between when they are meant to transmit it and when they transmitted it, and numbers are just coming. And that's what we are seeing right now.
The other part is there are places where they never held elections. The local governments that never held elections, but somehow there are numbers. Who came up with these numbers? I just would like to know, a lot of people were saying in the local government in Kogi State, no elections were held. And yet INEC announced results for that local government, and everyone's just like, I don't even think this number of people live here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when people accuse them of that, are they gonna say, "Oh, just shut up," or what? How do they explain that?
On national, okay, sorry, you can go on.
No, please go.
No, I just want to say, on national TV, when we saw it challenged live, was when the Labour Party agent submitted the results. The chairman got it and said, "This is the result, right?" She said yes. He said, your Labour Party agent signed it, right? She said yes. But she now said that the agent told me that I was forced to sign it under gunpoint, live on TV, literally live on TV. And then they are saying, "Oh, this is not where you lodge your complaints. You have to file a formal complaint to INEC. And if you have issues, go to court." That's the response we are getting. And people are calling foul.
But let's even talk about the court process, for example. When they tried to take INEC to court in 2007 after some contentious elections, I think in Ekiti, there was a bunch of other states. Anambra also had something going on. And there were and River State, so it was Ekiti, Anambra, and River States. The party candidates had a lot of things going on. At that time, I think it was Honorable Rotimi Amechi or something like that. And basically, they certified the election. They declared that there was no foul play and certified the election. And this has been I said the legal process of elections. Everyone knows that INEC's performances are abysmal at best. They have failed in many ways. One of INEC's mandate is to monitor electoral fundings for elections and monitor parties' election funds, the same way that they do in the US. Parties do not publish their monetary activities, and INEC lets them go. The first time INEC decided to check a party's financial processes was for Labour Party. Why were they targeting the Labour Party? I mean, I have guesses, but let me just do it over there. So little things like just checking financial activities before campaigns, they've never done. Election fundings, they've never done. Electoral laws, verifying electoral laws, they've never done. Mostly what they do is they tell you like a couple of months before election, we need this amount. It's usually inflated, as far as I know, because other countries across Africa and in the US do not spend as much as we do on verifying electoral processes without any result. When the US bought a bunch of new ballots for the last election, every single ballot was accounted for. There were machines, we saw warehouses where they kept them. Where INEC's receipts? But every single time the cases have gone to court, they have been shut down. Every single time. From 1999, they were shut down. In 2007, they were shut down. Even Atiku, I think, tried to put one forward when he didn't win 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Shut down.
But then did he build INEC?
That twist, right?
No cap.
Is working against you.
Man.
But I mean, there's one man in history that has an experience of winning in court, challenging fraud, and his name is Peter Obi. When he contested for governor that year, they cheated him and they rigged the election, and he lost. But he was calm, took the facts, took them to court. He's a very smart man, and he dealt with them in court. And that was one of the first times that the court ruled, against the election and then gave it to him. That's how he became governor. If you go check out, he didn't just win the election.
I haven't seen that case law. Oh my gosh, thank you.
No, yeah. Peter Obi won. That's one thing people are pointing at right now. They're saying, let them go with their win. They should announce Tinubu as winner. Let's go to court. Hopefully, the judiciary is not compromised. If the judiciary is not compromised, I believe with the amount of facts, data, and evidence that exists, Tinubu will collect.
Okay.
I hope so.
So wait. So we had Buhari. I know people wanted to, people were lauding him when he was running. He ran. He was president. Obviously, people are not satisfied with his performance. His term is up, right? Then we have this election taking place, or even before that, we have NSAR's movement, which is super huge, especially leading up to this election. Has become like almost like the galvanizing moment, I think, for youth in Nigeria. For the first time in a long time, we're seeing young people energized about politics, energized about the country's future, right? What is at stake for this election? Like, if Peter Obi officially loses, right, and we either elect Atiku or Tinubu, what is at stake for the country? Like, I've heard people talk about, if Peter Obi does not win, like, Nigeria is finished, like Nigeria is done. Like, what are the stakes? What are the stakes that we're playing out here?
I mean, I'll say it's either a new Nigeria or it's no Nigeria. With the new Nigeria being like spearheaded by Peter Obi, and the no Nigeria by those other two candidates. I mean, what I mean is basically, like she said rightly, from the manifesto, first of all, the plans they have for the country. And from the plans they have for the country, he has the best plans for the country. And outside the plans alone, like Buhari's government, a lot of people argue that Buhari is a good person from his history as being head of state. When he was head of state, he had a reputation. And that's one of the things that really propelled him to even come again. He had a reputation. People knew him for something. People knew him for being very disciplined. People knew him for being resourceful. So they thought that we're going to have, that part of Buhari in this republic. And he became president, but his presidency has been riddled to the ground because of the people around him, the appointments. And that's what makes a government. What makes a government is you as the head, and then the people around you that make the ecosystem. And I can tell you without any doubt that Tinubu's circle that he's going to build that will say, okay, we are going to fix this country, is going to be a bunch of people that are just going to be there for the benefits. Tinubu and Atiku. And that's what really makes the government, right? With Peter Obi, she already mentioned that his appointees that he has planned for Nigeria are people that are merit-based appointments, and they are ready to fix the country. Nigeria is at a point of breaking, literally, economically speaking, and just like internally speaking. Nigeria is a very complex country. From the religion to the ethnic issues, is too complex, it's too big a country. And what we really need right now is care, drip, revitalization, healing. And those other two candidates, they don't offer it at all, from their manifesto to the kind of people they are.
They don't even have a manifesto.
I mean, so yeah, to me, that's just it. It's either a new Nigeria or no Nigeria at all. So people understand that is what is at stake, and they are agitated and putting their voice to it.
I'm just processing this election. I'm processing it right now, because you're not wrong. I am so scared of Nigeria right now. And I say that knowing the weight of what it means to break apart. The last time, let's break this down just a little bit. As much as we say that Nigeria, we come over here to the US and we say, you're Nigerian, hey, you're Nigerian, and we're all cool. In Nigeria, that's not the case. It is more the case that if I marry an Igbo man as a Yoruba girl, my grandmother is going to side-eye me. We do have tribalism. And we need to talk about tribalism in the face of power. And it means this, that Yoruba people have had a lead, an 8-year lead in power with Obasanjo. Then we had the northern lead with Buhari and with Yar'Adua before him. And to some degree, maybe Jonathan, he had some of the north, but mostly east. But we haven't really had an Igbo head of state, an Igbo president, an Igbo precedence in government. And the last time this happened led to a civil war, because you had the Biafra War, a contested election. The election was completely rigged, as it is today. And you had the Igbo people saying, no, that's our president. Fractured the country for 4 years. Is it 4? A couple of years.
I remember that. Yeah.
We talk about the Biafra one now, like, oh, history calls it the War of Brothers. It wasn't the War of Brothers. It led to millions of deaths, massacres of villages, war and violence, and like war crimes on both sides. The most charismatic person we've had from the East right now is Peter Obi. And you know the worst part? He's supported not just by the Easterners. He's supported by the Yoruba people. He's supported a lot by the Southerners, actually. He has all of us youths believing in something, a Nigeria that we've never even dreamed of, quite frankly, because we were too jaded. We were too tired. We were hustling so much that we didn't even care at that point if we're bribing the cops just to get us, like, to not kill us. We had a man who said, I see you dying. I can help you. I see you suffering in the economy. I can help you. We had him. We believed his dreams. So on one end, it might be that Easterners are like, scroll of y'all, another Biafra. On another end, it might be the youths being like, NSARS happened and you killed us all. A man came to change it. You rigged the election so much so that he lost. It might be us taking over the country. It might be a youth leading the coup now. It might be fracturing on levels with which maybe I'm too imaginative and I'm contemplating.
I won't say that, to be honest, because like we rightly stated, Nigerians are frustrated and like they've been pushed to the wall. It is at the point where you push someone so much they have to react. And like I'm not just saying this on the basis of what's coming next, but they reacted from the coming out to vote. People got injured, people got molested, blood, injuries, and they went back, fixed it up, came back to vote because they found hope in the ability to vote and like add their voice to the struggle. And now they've stolen it from them, right? If they rigged the election or played funny under the table and we not really notice, we'll say, okay, right before our eyes, dirty, smelly rigging that is unfounded. So right now it's just like the youths are not going to keep quiet and just say, oh, we're fine with this. No, that time has passed for Nigeria where we are fine. We're not fine with it again. And like it's going to be obvious. First of all, we're going to fight legally in the court. God give us victory, win in court. Because the evidence is a plethora of evidence. And if the court is not compromised, we can have some kind of victory. So, I mean, that's where we are right now.
Man, that's intense. Well, yeah, we have some, we kind of mentioned a little bit, but we had some live news kind of be announced that Tinubu was announced by INEC as the winner of the election. So kind of going back to, so kind of going back on like what Dumadi was saying earlier, like the only way to like really fight that would be taken to court, right? Like Peter Obi in the past, like you said, has had some victory there. If the judicial system isn't compromised, but as far as we know, that's what the announcement is. I don't know if that's an official site or not. Or did you check that?
I think I'm seeing several links. INEC website is saying it. So
so they really announced it.
Yeah. So it's looking like it's official. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, I'm honestly genuinely shocked. I'm shocked because like they were presented with enough complaint. This election, this is rated the worst election Nigeria has ever had in history. The amount of complaints because this has been happening. The rigging, everything is normal. It's standard. But this one, it is noticed. This one, it is called out. This one is called out without fear. Because normally you fear this higher person. This one, they don't care. Like, come on, kill me. You rigged. And like they have evidence on it. So I'm shocked that INEC ignored all of it. You're telling people to lodge complaints to you as an official body. When are you going to look at the complaints? Are you not meant to look at the complaints containing irregularities in the election you're about to announce? They ignored all of it and they went ahead to announce an election with so much irregularities. So they are putting fire under with gas because it's just like the process is not straight and it's not one person saying it. It's not two. It's not three. A huge amount of people are calling out. The EU, the US observers, all of them have said the process was not transparent. So ignoring all these things and just saying this is the president is foul play. It shows that you have a motive. It shows that you are picking a side. And it shows that you are working with that establishment. It's obvious. And it's always weird taking INEC to court because they will always be forming, we did our best and you fight your battle. But I'm sure this time they will be held responsible because a lot is at stake. A lot is at stake. A lot.
Crazy, man. What's it called? On that note, I also had a question for you too as well. Were you guys both born in Nigeria?
I was born in Nigeria,
yeah. Yeah. Like, looking the way it's going now, would you ever see yourself moving back or like living there?
Me personally, yes. Like, I've always been someone that my mind was made up since the day I left Nigeria. I said I came here to collect knowledge and network. Out there's a country to build. And Peter Obi really showed that there is a path to that country to build. So I am 100% still hopeful that this election is not going to go their way. I don't think it's going to go their way. Yes, they should announce them. Yes, they should instigate anything they want to instigate. But I'm 100% sure it's not going to go their way. And even if it goes their way, to be honest, if it goes their way, man, my hope will go down. My hope will go down by like 50%. But reality, I genuinely think that it will be challenged and we're going to come out victorious. And to that end, I am definitely looking forward to going back to Nigeria.
Oh.
Yeah. How about you, Toyosi?
I said it before the beginning of this podcast. If there is a government in Nigeria that I believe in, I would work with them. I've always wanted to do that.
Maybe you should try and run for president.
Oh, hell no. Do I look like a sentence?
I mean, we have a broken country to go and fix, and it doesn't take one man to fix it. It takes all of us. True. And like people have been japping, people have been going. Like the percentage of like medical personnel in America, many of them are Nigerians, nurses, and many of them. There's no geographical latitude and longitude on earth. You go to, you'll find in Nigeria, they're just doing something. People have been emigrating. What'd you say?
I'm just gonna put this out there. Are you guys all in ASU?
No.
I went to ASU.
Oh, ASU sent out an email today about some sustainability development from the engineering team. The lead scholar for that is a Nigerian guy from Kogi State.
Wow.
And the work he's done, the incredible work he's done and research he's done on sustainability and soil growth and agriculture, and his thesis, I read it this morning and I was like, wow, first of all, mind broken, but literally Nigerian. That was just this morning. Do you know how many of those I roll out every time and it's some Nigerian name on there? And I'm just like, you guys are incredible. We are incredible, but we are not home.
Yep.
We are not doing this for Nigeria. We're not researching agricultural soil and techniques and all of those things for Nigeria. We're not researching aerospace engineering and like all of that. We're not. Right now, I'm doing policy research for the city of Mesa. I'm not home.
I genuinely believe that all things being equal, we are tapping into our full potential natural resources, our full potential human resources. Wakanda they don't know about it. Wakanda doesn't know about it. Nigeria, the amount of natural resources in that country is not a joke. Even the whole Boko Haram thing that you'll be hearing is natural resources they are fighting for in the north. Nigeria has gold in Zamfara. Nigeria has uranium in Sambisa. Enough. A lithium too that Elon Musk wanted to come and collect, but they told him he has to build battery factory in Nigeria first. We have resources that if we tap into, the country can really be. So I think Peter Obi gives us that hope that, okay, if this person is leading us, we can actualize our full potential. So that's why I think like wherever we are, as far as you love Nigeria, put your mouth. Whether it's tweeting, whether it's sending money to people that are going to, because they are going to protest. There's no way they announce this result and everything will be okay.
They are.
They already protested the day of the election, the day after the election. Every single day since the election, they have been protesting. And this one now, they've officially announced the INEC has done a bad thing. They've done a really bad thing announcing it officially. Because they're going to make people come take their clothes off and go on the streets and raise hell because they cannot take it. It's blatant. And it's being called out by everybody. So it's frustrating when you're saying something and they're just ignoring you.
Yeah. Wow. This is a very dense podcast.
I really learned a lot, man.
Fiend, do you have any questions for him?
That's true.
Any wrap ups?
I have no questions. Very interesting.
All right.
I'm kind of overwhelmed. Don't know what to say.
It's a lot. We gonna maybe we have to replay this a few times.
Nah, for real.
I really understand.
Yeah, I feel like there's even more to discuss.
Oh, definitely.
Just when it comes to Nigeria too, just because of time and stuff like that. But definitely, like this conversation needs to keep going. And I really appreciate you guys for like just bringing your expertise and your knowledge about this. Because even in this short amount of time, I've learned so much. Like even just about. Yeah, just like honestly, the last like month or so, like with all this election stuff, plus this podcast, like I've learned so much about each party, each candidate, the history of stuff. Like even having conversations with like uncles, like my dad, all that kind of stuff. It just makes me learn a little bit more. It's good because for me personally, like I don't know if you guys have ever listened to our podcast. We had like one like last month or so. We were talking about like from our perspective, like we would not want to go to Nigeria, like from where we are. You know what I mean? Just because of all this negative stuff we're hearing, like, you know, no structure and all this kind of stuff. But once we hear about like, okay, there's this one guy here that's like, you know, bubbling up and like give us hope. And so it's like, okay, it makes us all like a little bit more interested. And it's like, okay, like maybe, you know, we can go back and actually do something, you know? So hopefully, you know, the election, you know, can overturn in some way. I don't know how it works once they announce it, but hoping for the best.
Oh my God. This next couple of weeks are going to be tense in Nigeria.
Going to be very tense. Going to be very tense. But it's something I'm hoping on, and surprisingly, it is the sitting president of the country. He made a statement and he made a promise. Yes, he made a promise to everyone that he's going to leave a legacy of free and fair elections. That hasn't happened. Yes, but it doesn't mean that he's not going to punish based on the consequences from the Electoral Act, because a lot of the listings of the Electoral Act have been ignored, diverted, and that's law. And that's the law. The Electoral Act is meant to guide the election. So hopefully he comes out and he supports the youth. Not necessarily coming to say, oh, I'm supporting the youth, but supporting the straightness of the electoral process and prosecuting those who have circumvented the Electoral Act. He is the head of state and he can do it gallantly.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe that much in him, but this is something to die for. So if he decides to die on this, I ain't gonna be mad.
Perfect. Thank you. Man. Thank you guys. We appreciate it for real. We thank you for, you know, putting us on, educating us. It's been a pleasure, man. 20 somethings podcast. Dave, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. What's your guys' ads on social media? If like, you know, you guys have anything to plug, any information about yourselves? You said what?
I said which one? Instagram, Twitter.
All of them. Plug all of them.
I'm TM Rights on Instagram, so T_M Rights, and my Instagram's open, and same handle for my Twitter actually. So if you guys want to follow.
Beautiful.
At Dumadi Lesi, no space between DUMADILESI. Yeah.
Tap in with my guy, man. Tap in.
Yeah. And we are on Instagram. We're 20 somethings podcast _ hit our IG page, look at our reels, like it up, leave a review at Apple Podcasts, all that kind of stuff, and support. Give us feedback and tell us what you think about this episode too. This is a little bit different for us. And
leave a comment.
I really enjoyed it to even be a part of it. I feel like a listener. Like I would definitely love listening to this. So share this to everybody you know. All us young Nigerians, even here in the diaspora, just share this to everybody, and you know, you never know where it can go. So, thank you for joining us again, and this is the 20 somethings podcast. We out.
Love.